BAND-MAID ZEN 2025 and so much more to be here and discussed on Ears to the East. Hello everyone, hello to Neon, hello to Benedict, aka Neon Reaper Reacts and Reactor Matt. We are here to discuss not only the new... Sorry? What was that? What was that interruption?
Weirdo Mad.
Weirdo. Okay,
Weirdo Mad. Yeah,
you got to change your Zoom names. Yeah, I've got to update them every time we have a conversation. But yeah, so we're here to discuss not only the new single ZEN that came out from BAND-MAID, but also we did a whole episode recently where we were talking about brand new BAND-MAID, brand new EPs that are coming out in 2025 and albums, and we completely forgot to mention that there is a new BAND-MAID album coming out in 2025, which assumedly this song ZEN will be from. Let's assume that to be the case. I'm sure there'll be some people in the comments going, no, this is a standalone single, it won't be on the album, but let's just assume it's going to be on whatever is coming up.
But I only heard briefly about it. Can you fill me in about the details? What do we know about the new album? Is there a release date, a name, a cover? What do we know?
Let me read this exciting, it's a very long piece of information that BAND-MAID put on their website about it. It basically said in 2025, BAND-MAID will be releasing a new EP. More information will be released soon. Keep your eyes peeled for more information. Okay. So we got a lot of details to go on.
At least it's confirmed.
At least we know that they want us to pay attention. So keep looking. What? It's coming. So they're building up the excitement at very least. But let's start off with ZEN. Do you guys want to lead in, or do you want me to lead in with this? Who's gonna waffle first? Because
well, do we just want to talk about what we think about the song first?
Well, we've been doing this podcast for so long, and we can't even work out how to start a conversation. I
didn't know where you want to take this, where you wanted to start.
All right, I'll lay down. Okay, go on.
Yeah, sure. I think ZEN is an amazing track. I really enjoy that track. To me, I actually didn't think it sounds like
a second, before you go any further, like and subscribe now. This is the perfect moment before anyone says anything more. Like and subscribe now if you agree with Benedict.
Well, I'm not sure what he's talking about, because I really enjoy this song. I think it's really great. And what I wanted to say before Howard cut me off so nicely, didn't really sound like an anime song theme to me, like an opener. Usually when I think about anime sounding music, it sounds not like this. This to me felt like a... What's going on?
BAND-MAID Bro.
BAND-MAID Bro.
Yeah. Sorry, my camera's had a little bit of a moment. Carry on. This is not me interrupting you. Just carry on, okay?
He's trying his best. You gotta let him flow, Howard.
Talk.
Man, always interrupting my flow.
Oh, I'm back. Carry on. Just talk.
Yeah, but like I said, it just felt like a kind of like a typical BAND-MAID song to me, which isn't a bad thing at all. It felt like it's BAND-MAID at their best. All the elements were in there. Shreddy, Kanami, nice drumming by Akane, awesome bass lines. Everything was top notch. Yeah, that are kind of my thoughts. I really like the song, and to me also kind of think sonically would fit to Epic Narratives like their last album, even though I don't know when it was made exactly. Could have been made before that even. I don't know.
I mean, I would assume it was probably made around about the similar time, or at least, during that period, or very close to it.
Makes sense.
Neon, your thoughts?
I'm kind of on the same boat as Benedict. I actually really enjoyed ZEN. I made the horrible mistake during my reaction of saying ZEN was on Epic Narratives, and oh my god, the comment section never let me fucking regret that. Well,
I mean, in all fairness, given the amount we've talked about Epic Narrative,
you know what, I said it so casually because what happened was I was on my Twitch stream and I literally had like 2 minutes to get off my Twitch stream into the premiere and you know when it's doing the YouTube counting down and you just need to waffle for 2 minutes, and I was like, yeah, so I was like, I'm really interested to see what ZEN is like off the back of like the music video, off the back of Epic Narrative for this. And as soon as I said it, I was like, internally in my head I was like, oh fuck. but it's a little mistake. Nobody would, have a go at me for that. And then like
Hey,
literally
man.
released the video. I was like,
Bro,
I should have
how long
fucking.
have you been doing a
I
reaction
know,
channel?
I know,
Don't
I
worry,
know.
fans of artists aren't going to pick me up on little details like saying this song was on the recently released album that it wasn't on. Dude, you know full well that you're going to
I
get.
know.
I think you were just after the interactions.
I was like,
this is the best song on Unseen World. Everyone will comment.
Hate
Like,
hype.
I was like, you know, if I don't acknowledge the mistake, nobody will notice. Oh, no, those fuckers noticed.
Man.
You're right.
Like,
You're just
well,
getting the YouTube.
I recently
algorithm
said like
interested.
in Mexico they speak Mexican, and I was also like, yeah, people know that was like a brain fart, but everyone they call, oh, no, we don't speak Mexican.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They call Chinese food in China.
Exactly.
I know you speak Spanish.
Like I said, the thing with my reaction, because I do premieres live, obviously I tend to waffle a little bit. But the thing is like because the reactions are 100% genuine. Sometimes I talk, and sometimes sometimes I fuck up. Sometimes I make mistakes where I say something, and I'm like, oh shit, was that the best way of saying it? And that was one of those moments. And I knew internally, I swear, if you look back at my reaction, there is a split 2 seconds where I say it, and it comes out of my mouth, and my face just goes, oh fuck.
You gotta just start saying, I know what I said was wrong. Comment anyway.
Yeah.
Say.
I said that to the comments. I was like, dude, I fucked up. All right. I was waffling. Didn't
Just
mean
put
to
a
say
general I fucked up disclaimer in front of
I
every
fucked
video.
up.
Well, I think
this was the moment he knew he fucked up.
I think the one thing we can all say then is that, I mean, probably for a bit of a rarity here, we basically agree on this song then. In that, I think, like, so it is. I mean, everyone knew from when we got the announcement, from knowing it was going to be an anime theme tune, from knowing it was going to be a band-made single, from having seen the little clip at the end when we had the 2025 preview at the end of the ZEP show that I was at, yay. You know, from all of these things, we kind of knew that it was going to be in that sort of safe band-made territory. It wasn't going to be them pushing themselves into a new direction. It was going to be them doing their core sound. Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. And I think if you're going to do that in your singles. But I think what was really interesting for me is kind of like what Benedict was saying, and I think Neil was agreeing with. I think this was kind of like them doing their core sound, but it was one of the most satisfying examples of that. It was a really satisfyingly done song. I felt it had, like you said, it had that epic narratives vibe where it felt like the melody was front and center. Even if it wasn't the most catchy chorus they've ever done, it was a satisfying chorus, and the whole song flowed together. So rather than getting focused on, oh, is it catchy? It was just like the whole song flows beautifully. It's got a really nice feel to it. Someone actually mentioned in my comments that the mix feels very similar to Hibana from, I think it was from the Sense single. Let's see if I get caught up on that. I think it was the single.
I would have to listen to it again.
And you know, I actually thought that was kind of true because I really like that song as well. And it's got a very similar, like sonically, it's very similar. It's very thick, but it's got a lot of punch as well. Like, you know, the drums really punch through in this in a really satisfying way, which I think is partly down to the fact it's a little bit more mid-tempo. So because the drums are a little less kinetic, it's more like sort of mid-tempo beat with fills. There's more room for everything to punch through in the mix. So it's got a satisfying mix. It's got good punch. It's got a great melody. It flows beautifully. Love the pre-chorus with the walking down line. So much cool stuff. There's one thing that I said though, which I thought could have been done better. And this
please don't say what I think.
We started a wonderful conversation. So I think you know where I'm probably going to go with. But like, so what I felt happened is so the bridge, the song stops and then it comes back in. You've got that really sort of rousing bit where it's like, yeah, it really sounds kind of like it's got a We Will Rock You vibe where everything's kind of like very mid-tempo chanting. And I felt that bit was such a great build up. But for me, they just shot out of that into the solo so quickly. I wanted them to build up to the solo longer. I wanted it to be more of a build up before we shot into the solo. And I just felt that was my only thing in the song where I was like, not sure about that. I think they rushed to the solo. I wanted them to
I heard a
build
few
up
people complain actually about the solo, saying it felt like really out of place for like
Really?
in the flow of the song. Yeah, a few people have said that to me, and I got to disagree. I actually think that the solo sticking out a lot more in this actually is one of the highlights for me.
Yeah.
I really dig that. And I agree with Howard though. I would have liked that build up, that sense of like a build up to a crescendo being taking a little bit more of a sweet time to build up. But I really like this. Maybe a little bit of a controversial opinion as well. This is where we lose all the subscribers now.
Like and subscribe now, for God's
Yeah,
sake, do it now.
like
You're
do
running
it
out of
now.
time.
Do it now. But I actually think that if they missed a beat not putting this on Epic Narratives, I would actually say this is probably, if this was on Epic Narratives, this would probably be my favorite track.
It certainly would be one of the like top ones. It is really good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Favorite.
if I was going to be like, that's all the praise I can give to the song. If I was going to be critical, though, I think this is not like BAND-MAID's first song for like an anime opener. And I would, if ZEN was like the first anime opener song for them, I kind of would have been, all right, okay, they played it safe, they've done their core sound, and they've kept it fairly simple. But seeing as we've already got like Sense in that at the beginning, I wouldn't have minded if we got something maybe a little bit more experimental from them for this one, just like to try it. Seeing it's a single as well and it's not attached to the main stuff at the minute, I was like, would have been nice to see them kind of like maybe experiment and do something new. So I was maybe a tidge little bit disappointed that they kind of stuck to the same beats rather than taking this opportunity to kind of like
well, that
make
maybe
something a bit
brings us
wacky.
on to the next topic, which is, of course, the fact that this, assumedly, is going to be our first taster of the upcoming EP that we'll be getting this year. Oh, yeah.
Well, before you get into that, let me just say I agree on the build could be longer and stronger, but to me, that solo really, I love that solo.
That solo is amazing.
I feel it fits
love that
perfectly. You know, it kind of switches up the song in the best way possible. So yeah.
I mean, the solo's great, but
perfect
the thing
in
is,
my opinion.
I had a couple of people who said that they felt the solo was a bit jarring or that it was too long. And I was like, I think the only reason you would feel that is because of the fact that it appears like everything about what comes directly before the solo feels like, oh, we're building up. And so just the fact that it switches so suddenly to the solo, yeah, you might find that as like a really satisfying left turn. But I just get the feeling that little bit before a solo really feels like it's the beginning of a build-up. So it just is the fact that it feels like they set up something and then dropped it too quickly maybe makes the solo sound more jarring, whereas exactly the same solo after a few more bars build-up would have probably felt much more in place. So I don't think it's actually anything against the solo. I just think it's just it's the way it comes in is a little bit like it does. I think it's interesting because usually people disagree with me on this one. So I'm surprised that anyone, especially quite a few people agree with me, that it felt like more of a build-up prior to that would have been maybe a little bit better. But there you go. That's like I say, that's the only nitpick I had in a song that otherwise I really enjoyed. But yeah, so I did want to get your opinion on the fact that obviously this is presumably our first taste of an upcoming EP. We have no information about the EP. I'm wondering whether it's going to get announced on April the 1st and it's going to turn out to be some sort of crazy side project solo, maybe BAND-MAID coming back or something. Maybe that's what they were trying to hint at all along. But I'm wondering though, like in assuming this is going to be a main canonical release of the BAND-MAID, well, I kind of going with what Neon says there. I'm looking forward to. I'd like to think that it's going to be an EP of like maybe the ideas that were so experimental that they were a little bit unsure about putting them onto Epic Narratives, because we've seen them spread their pigeon wings more and more as time has gone on. But sometimes they seem to be a little bit apprehensive about putting these kind of more experimental songs on their main releases. So
I mean, just having this song as the single they put forward doesn't mean the EP can't be that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It could just be the anchor.
Yeah. I would also really wish for it, but yeah, we will have to see. I have no idea. But I would be, imagining just they would put out another EP with, I don't know, 7 tracks that are great, but that are, I don't know how much was Sense. Sense was 7 tracks.
He said hope. He said hope, right? He said hope.
I mean, Sense, I think
that's more than hope, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, well,
Sense was just a free track. I think it was basically just a single, really. It's one of those ones where it's a single, but
what am I talking about? The blue one.
Unleash.
Not Sense. Sense is on Unleash.
Actually, right. It was Unleash was 7, wasn't it? It was 7, wasn't it? Go check. Do your research.
I think it was 7.
I'm
I
pretty sure
remember
it was 7.
one of their albums
Ah,
really was really
8.
short.
It's even
8
8.
songs.
that's
Yeah.
right, because the first track is obviously it's a instrumental, but it's from now on, isn't it? The intro.
Yeah, from now on, Balance Unleash, Sense, Isle, Corellium, Influencer und Hate.
That's 7.
No, that's
No?
8.
Oh, Isle.
My-
Isle. Sorry, you said Isle.
Isle, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I was counting in my head, but I didn't count R. My bad. Yeah, wow. So that's I mean, that's not far short of what most bands in the 70s would have called an album. So it's pretty solid.
Exactly.
Pretty solid stuff.
But I mean, what other EPs do they have that they really call an EP? Because you only have Unleash, right? And otherwise they have singles.
Yeah, they have like extended singles, which are stuff like Sense. They called it. It's registered as an EP on a lot of streaming services, but I don't think anyone would realistically call that an EP. BAND-MAID E.P is a different band. Yeah, really good cover band. But
so in a sense, it's just
they've only got that EP.
Their second EP, right?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Does anybody else feel like this EP is coming out like way too soon? I mean, it feels like we just got Epic Narratives. I can only imagine that this is like loads of tracks that probably didn't make it.
But that would speak to the point it might be songs they didn't want to put on the album.
Just noticed something, because we had our conversation the other day about obviously Made in Japan, and now I come to think about it, the first few BAND-MAID albums had about the same number of tracks as Unleash. So the fact that one's an EP and that they're albums is actually a rather arbitrary definition, isn't it? Really. So I guess in a way that's
I always consider Unleash to be an album. I don't exclude it when I talk about their albums. I mean, does it say EP here on somewhere? No.
And Unleash really felt like an epilogue of Unseen World. So I'm kind of inclined to agree with Neon. I think we might be looking at the epilogue of Epic Narratives here.
Yeah.
So I personally hope that the songs we get from this new EP, I know probably another minority opinion here, but I thought that the Epic Narratives as a whole for the album, it flowed really well, and it was a really nice album. But I thought like sort of like the craziness and the tempo shift had kind of taken a notch down in that album compared to the two before it. So I hope with ZEN, with the way that ZEN sounded, I mean, I'm just going off what the premise of ZEN here, which could or could not even be included on this EP. Who the fuck knows at this point? I hope we hear like
assume it is.
Yeah, we're going to assume it is. I hope we hear some more of those like chaotic songs that we didn't quite hear on Epic Narratives. For me, anyway, personally, I know a lot of people prefer. It's really weird because I know a lot of people like that chaotic BAND-MAID sound, but I also know a lot of people like the more rhythmic, more sort of organized BAND-MAID sound as well. So
I do like the chaotic stuff, but I would wish for it, if I could wish for anything, a EP that has a lot of songs like Forbidden Tale or The One or these, a bit different feeling songs. Like they feel they have a, I don't know, larger, more complex structure to the song itself. So that's what I kind of wish for, but I don't think we will get that because I feel they would have put it on Epic Narratives.
I don't think that's actually such a bad call. I mean, the thing is, in a way, I'm in a perfect situation because, like Epic Narratives was exactly, I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was exactly the album that I was hoping for, given what we'd had prior to it. I mean, I very much enjoyed Unseen World. But I felt like Unseen World was very much lent in one direction. Then we had Unleash afterwards, which I enjoyed as well. I mean, again, ironically, Unleash had some songs on it that, I mean, the lead single Unleash anyway was like one of my favorite songs. Probably my favorite song from that entire Unseen World Unleash era was Unleash. But then so I was like, okay, I want something else so that has a little bit more melodic focus. Because I missed some of the melodic songs. And then for me, Epic Narratives was just a beautiful melodic album with like really maturely, subtly structured songs for the best part, which was great. So now I'm in a perfect situation. Like if I get more of epic narratives, well, to be honest, I'm fine with that because I really loved epic narratives. If I get a switch back to the crazy stuff, I'm kind of happy with that as well because I've already had my fill of the melodic stuff. So hey, let's have a little bit more contrast. And if I get something totally new, I'm happy anyway because I love experimentation. So whichever direction they go in, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm done. I've got my stomach is nicely full, and someone's just bringing out the dessert tray. That's all this is for me. Is someone's bringing out the dessert tray. And considering that my first smell of the dessert tray was ZEN, I think I'm gonna have me a good cake.
You fat fuck.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, BAND-MAID are fattening me up. I got my big BAND-MAID shirt on. I'm gonna get me nice and caked up
like,
on BAND-MAID.
Wouldn't you get sick to your stomach a little bit if you would eat that whole cake and it would just taste the same all the way through and it didn't have any
that's the danger,
special filling, you know?
I feel like they're releasing so much stuff at the minute that like the sense of like changes.
That's why I would really wish for whatever direction it is, but choose a specific direction and have that for the EP.
I think that just I can see kind of what you're saying there, and I guess the what I was subconsciously protecting myself from that with is because, as I'd said, like Unleashed to me had felt like it was more of Unseen World, but it was like more of Unseen World, but actually it felt like a little bit of a step up as well. You know, it's like it was a little bit more, but it was really good quality. It didn't just feel like the dregs, like, oh, we forgot to include this. It was like, here's some really good stuff if you just want a little bit more. It's like a really good encore. So in a way, when I say I'd be happy for more of epic narratives, it's because in a way I kind of feel almost like it would be like that. Like, is this going to be like a really good encore to epic narratives rather than, you know, just like, oh, here's the songs that we didn't.
Now that you say it, to me, Unleashed feels a bit like the stepping stone between Unseen World and epic narratives. Kind of, you know, the songs, I would say, yeah, they are kind of the middle ground. So I could hope for the next EP to be the next shift in a direction, which we will get on the album then afterwards, you know?
So it's all gonna be like folk music and, you know, a couple of jazz numbers.
Like I said, just choose a direction.
Yeah, personally, I always see like EPs. It's becoming less and less of a thing, I think, in the industry now, where like EPs to me were always like the thing a band could bring out and be like totally experimental, you know, you know, and just try something different, try mixing genres and try something that wouldn't typically get on an album. Recently, as like the years have gone on, EPs now kind of feel just like and a few added extra songs in the same genre. Like it feels like EPs have started to become less experimental, more just churning out the same stuff a little bit, or whatever doesn't make it onto an album, or you know, or from a band's backlog a little bit. But yeah, like I said, if they came out with an EP and it's just full of fucking jazz songs, I'd be jazzed with that, you know. Yeah, that was awful. I know.
I think this comes back to I mean, I did a video a few months ago where I was talking about why I think the phrase mini album is quite a good phrase. Because the thing is that I kind of agree with what you're saying in one sense, but the other sense is that I think that the term EP has always just been such a catch-all. Sometimes it will be like, oh, here's just a few live tracks. Sometimes it would be tracks left over from an album. Sometimes it would be like a long single. Like EP was just basically a word for, look, we got some stuff we want to release and we got nowhere to put it. Whereas mini albums as a general have felt much more purposeful. Now, of course, that phrasing hasn't become like codified or anything, but I think it's starting to become clear to most people what the difference between a mini album and an EP is. So in the terms of this being called an EP, I mean, I feel like what they really mean is more of a mini album, but yeah, they've referred to it as an EP. And again, I know people are going to get in the comments about this. That's not really the point so much, but I mean, the thing is that I can't help but feel that this is going to be something which is going to be presented, even if it is leftover tracks, it's going to be presented as an album and put together professionally as an album. But when it comes to the experimentation thing, I think that can be something that maybe we've got that idea because we're so used to EPs basically being anything, any kind of mishmash. Some of them were just absolutely just bizarre stuff. You know, so as it could just be a collection of B-sides. So that's why I think we kind of all have this idea that EPs tend to be experimental. But I think bands should just experiment anywhere. I think they kind of should. BAND-MAID have a habit of reserving their experimentations for off-album stuff. We've said this so many times. Start Over was a really good example of that. About Us, but then again, you know, we had about a page at the beginning of a Conqueror, and I was really surprised when Memorable turned up on Epic Narratives. I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was so used to them reserving those kind of songs as non-album tracks. When that turned up on Epic Narratives, I was like, wow, cool, they've put an acoustic-led song on there. So I feel like BAND-MAID are maybe warming up to the idea of having slightly more experimental stuff on albums. And yeah, so I hope that they just feel free to experiment everywhere, and this little mini album EP thing as well.
I mean, if we talk about the terminology, EP means extended play. So what is it, an extension of the last album? What else?
Yeah. But I think even that name became redundant before.
Yeah, probably the terminology doesn't
LP
really
for
refer to that anymore.
LP for long play, EP for extended.
Yeah, I mean, mini albums like stereotypically aren't really a thing elsewhere in the world. Like, like Japan is just one of those places where like an EP or a fucking mini album is really common. But you look at probably like 3/4 of the world, that's not really typically the case for most music industries.
But I think that's because of the way people consume music and like physical media. You don't need them in the rest of the world because people are not going to go out and buy the album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. So it's hard to look at like even mini albums, even like you just said, they're called mini albums, but it's hard not to look at them sometimes from my perspective and think it doesn't
say the broad majority of people probably doesn't even care or know about if this is an LP or EP or whatever. They just see new BAND-MAID release. That's it.
Do you think that's true of like people who are? Do you think just broader fans, or do you? I think the people who are into Japanese music,
I think the really hardcore fans, they might care about. They might watch our channel, but as you can see by our numbers,
oh,
like and subscribe now. Like and subscribe for God's sake.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, it's the same.
We're doing this now.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Neon's numbers.
I mean, if you go to Spotify or something, that it doesn't say this is Unleash is an EP, or does it?
Some of them do. No, some of them really do.
Okay.
It's all down to how the artist chooses to present it. But a lot of the time, the artists will put like, "Oh, it's an EP." They'll put it on there on the title. Okay. I think actually, I can't remember. I think Spotify maybe even has like it defined. I think it maybe not. I'll just have a quick look. But yeah, I mean, either way, the thing is that I do hope that whatever BAND-MAID do with this upcoming recording, assuming it's not going to be some kind of April the 1st joke, which would be amazing in its own right. But whatever they do with this, I kind of hope that they continue what seems to be an increasing comfort with experimentation, like, you know, being able to put those things front and center, because, you know, they're really good. Oh yeah, so there's a little thing on where you go to discography, it says albums, then it has singles and EPs as a separate button. So yeah, EPs are thrown in with singles as far as Spotify is concerned, which I think is probably more representative of how like a Western audience would look at them. You know, Western audience would see an EP as like, well, it's not a full album. Yeah, it's not a major release or something. Definitely. Whereas obviously like in Japan, it's becoming the replacement of albums. Well, yeah, I mean, again, it's a really poorly defined thing, and I think over time it will start to make a little bit more sense. But the mini album concept, which I think was pioneered actually by K-pop, I think is a very strong concept for the way the industry is going. If you've got a market like Asia where people actually want to buy albums, but they don't want to wait so long for them, yeah, the mini album is that upcoming concept. But yeah, so what do you if there was going to be a BAND-MAID April 1st prank? We had Band Maiko, that wonderful cover band. We had Clupo. Been a little while since we had another one. What were we expecting? We're expecting like a Scandal de Bondo style thing where a couple of the members are going to join a rap group. You know, which two members are going to form a rap group out of
Gonna
BAND-MAID
be
or
band metal, really
Band
extreme
metal.
stuff.
no, no, I should
Really
have
go
known
like
take it there.
metalcore.
Misa going back to her roots and
Yeah.
playing guitar instead of bass, you know, just shredding on guitar.
I mean,
Kind of
who
just
would be
blast beating the whole time.
I mean
Who would be the
that's
screamer?
all we need.
Miku.
Just put the
Miku,
other just put the other four girls to one side and just have Misa on stage by herself. I'll be happy with that.
All right, fucking obsession over here. Hashtag no
Misa
bias.
solo.
So we're talking about the Akane solo album again. Just Akane doing drum solos for an entire album. Yes, sign me up.
You know what? I've listened to that as well. Like I'm not even joking.
Probably yes.
Do you know what? I would love to have an album which was like Akane and Misa just kind of doing like groove style funk and jazz style rhythm, like real rhythm focused stuff, and then just have Psyche just singing some soulful stuff over the top. Maybe have like Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra come in to lay down a little bit of saxophone and some trombone on there. Just having like
Just
a
have
really
that as the next
groovy...
EP, like have little duets for different combinations of them.
Do you know, every time though, every time I hear like about Psyche doing a solo thing, like the one she did with I can't remember his name, the guy who had a really long name, did a reaction to it, and then she's done a couple of like collaborations for. Every time it's like Psyche's done a collaboration, I'm like, oh, I'm hoping she's going to get to do something soulful or like just do a little bit of funky, because you know she's got penchant from that. You know, she had a little bit of a pop and R&B fascination, I think, pre-BAND-MAID. So in a way, I kind of want to hear her do something not pop and R&B, but just something a little bit soulful.
Are there
Love
any,
to hear
like,
that.
can you watch some of her stuff from that era on YouTube or
It's
something?
not so, as far as I'm aware, it's not so much that she did that. It's just like she appeared in the background of a couple of music videos, which were kind of like R&B style music. And you can tell from her fashion, she's got a little bit more of a pop chic than I think a lot of the others. And the way that she was drafted in last, you know, she's definitely one of those ones. She's the cool girl. Although she's also a train spotter. I don't know how being cool and being a train spotter really goes in, but she's cool and a train spotter. It's the sort of thing that can only happen in Japan.
I was about to say train spotting means something completely different in the UK.
Well, just don't get Ewan McGregor involved is all I'd say. Train spotting, just in case anyone don't know, you have to for movie reference. But so
it's heroin.
yeah. But like when it comes to the whole like idea of a fun side project, I think I would love to hear something headed up by Akane, Misa, and Psyche, like the rhythm and the soul section of the band doing something like that. That would probably be my number one pick for a side project.
I would love, even if it's just one song, kind of going harkening back to what Benedict said about like a band metal. Now he said it, I can't get it out of my head. But I would love like a sort of like a inspired heavy metal BAND-MAID with Miku on vocals, just like
you know it's going to happen now. You know it's going to happen now.
Like they've already got the setup there to make that perfect with like really kawaii freaking metal. Like
they've already got songs that are borderline metal already. You don't need...
No, yeah, but that's borderline metal. I'm talking breakdown.
Too much
metal
already.
Proper metal.
All right. I'm going to go the opposite direction then. I want Miku and Akane to start a the Bondo style rap group together.
Yeah, I need Misa growling for a mic.
All right,
screams with Psyche and Miku.
I'm going to start the most impossible poll ever. People in chat, you decide which one do you want. Do you want either the funk soul group with Psyche, Misa, and Akane? Do you want the heavy metal group with Miku and Misa on vocals, the band metal? Or would you be willing to go for the dangerous third option and have Miku and Akane start a rap group?
Yeah,
I am 100% hoping that at least one person goes for that. So I've put 2 horses in this 3-horse race, and I expect both of my horses to get shot by the end of the race. Yeah. But still,
I think the reason why I'm gonna win is because I have all of them in my group, and I don't throw people out like hell.
No, that's not a.
Oh, shots fired.
I think the reason why you're going to win is because you're just appeasing to the fact that most of the people who are in here are going to be metalheads. So it's going to be all
BAND-MAID fans are not necessarily metalheads. They are rock fans.
No, but there's a hell of a lot more of them are metalheads than funk and jazz fans.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like a BAND-MAID like proper punk song as well. That would be cool.
Yeah, punky song, but I think they could just do that as part of BAND-MAID.
Yeah, they probably could.
Yeah, just do that as a BAND-MAID thing,
Punk-MAID.
as could they metal.
Punk-MAID, yeah.
Punk-MAID. And punk.
To be fair though, if we got like a return to BAND-MAID or stuff like that, I'd be totally happy with that. Mako, whatever.
It's only
I still can't see it. It's a running theme that I still can't say. But
by the way, just one quick question, Neon.
Yeah, go on.
Why golf?
Why golf?
That's the wrong.
That's what we need.
Band.
We just need an EP like sold alongside a BAND-MAID.
That's the 4th option you have to add to the 3 bands. The 4th option is BAND-MAID golf balls.
BAND-MAID golf balls.
Following the grand history of making golf balls as merchandise. Because
I could totally imagine Psyche being like the type of person that would like swing a 9-iron down the fairway. I reckon she'd have a brutal swing.
I was really shocked when I found out that a sucker from Trident is really into golf. I was like, can you imagine just like going onto a golf course and there's a sucker from Trident? You're like, okay. Suddenly golf feels cool. And then you go to a station and there's Psyche like taking down train numbers. Suddenly train spotting feels cool. It's like, what is going on? Do you know what, actually? I think we've got to start thinking of all of the uncool things that will be made cool by Japanese stars who we like.
Okay.
Nemophila, raising children is cool. Changing poopy nappies is cool.
That's like
women making stuff cool.
That's our whole childhood, though, isn't it? Really, like all of us were like always into maybe less anime or Japanese and weeby things. Like they all used to make fun of us. Look at us now,
it's true.
They still make fun of us, but hell. I'm just too old to care at this point.
What is the ripe old age that you stopped caring? What is this ripe old age that you've reached, Neon? Please.
I think actually there was a change at some point where now anime is cool. And
I think it was cool back in the 90s. I know you guys said that you didn't think it was, but certainly when I was growing up, it was like, it was kind of cool. There's loads of kids who were into like Dragon Ball and like Pokemon and all that stuff when I was growing up. It was like big things. I think it was cool, but just in a different way.
Yeah,
it was cool in the niche we were in, but like everyone else looked at it like kind of weirdly.
For me, it was the opposite. I was the one who wasn't in that niche, and like, well, the niche was kind of everyone. So it was like,
okay. You were the one looking at me weirdly.
Kids are mean though. Kids are just little fuckers.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Let's ban kids.
I'm still upset to this day that I can't go Super Saiyan. So
just have to try harder.
I know. I have to train some more.
You just need more Dragon Balls. And on that exciting note, I never understood Dragon Ball. I know just people standing around with big hair screaming at each other. It's like, just sounds like angry hairdressers to me. But anyway, let's move on to the conclusion that there's 45 seconds left on the free version of Zoom. And thus we want you to get get into the comments. Please do like, subscribe, share the channel. We do actually want to get over 1,000 subscribers.
We want to get over 1,000 already. Come on, make it happen.
Eventually, sometime.
Then
Get
Neon
into
will
the
go
comments.
Super Saiyan.
Tell us whether you would prefer to have band metal, which of course you all were going to vote for, or whether you'd like to have the Akane Misa Psyche Jazz Fusion group, or if you just want them to turn into a rap group, because why the fuck not? And until we hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, our wonderful dear subscriber that you are, remember to keep your ears to the east. You've got about 4 seconds. Timed that pretty well.
Why golf?